We are live.
We are live. Welcome to News and Nonsense at 9. I'm Auntie AK, aka the auntie of all the aunties, and Easter. And I'm here with
I'm Farrahs, resident Caribbean Queen.
I am Nana, aka the Black Fairy, aka Dark and Lovely.
guys. We are here, gathered here today because the world on this holy day is still battling the evils out there. And we thought we'd help you navigate this cold, cold world and bring you the news our way. We're going to dig through all the news and nonsense out there to give you our take on it. We're here to help you separate the wheat from the chaff, the sap from the crap, from what you need to know, from what you don't need to know. But before we get into it, Nana, what do we need to do?
Guys, you need to boop the like button on entry. Boop it now, please.
And Farah, what do they need to do?
If you haven't already, you need to subscribe to our membership, and it is £4.99. Sign up now for extra aunties and all extra goodness.
Yes, please. And also, before we get into all the mess of the week, we need you to know that these are just our opinions. We are not experts. This is the Cool Aunties WhatsApp group. We want actual and factuals. Ask TLC, Google, or phone a friend. And any links we share for you are for you to dig deeper and do your own research. Please do your research. Don't come for us either, because we will come for you. You'll get an auntie takedown by Farah or by Nana or an essay from myself.
Thank you. There we go. I was waiting for you to include yourself in it.
Normally I leave myself out, but I was like, okay, I'll add one.
I mean, you do stuff too.
I said I'll do my essays. Who's in the chat? Let's check. Who's doing roll call? Who's here today?
Who do we have with us today? Guys, come in. Roll up, roll up. All right, we have Yvonne is in the house bright and early.
Hi.
We have Dora with us as well. We have Little Rock in the house. Sora says, hello, beautiful aunties. Thank you so much. And so it also says, hope everyone had a restful bank holiday.
How's your bank holiday been, guys?
It's been all right, you know. Well, you know what? To be fair, I've been editing most of the day. I did our episode. I did some extra bits for the corporate bits. I've been editing most of the day. And I got to see one of my kids because they're both away. Well, one of them, eldest, dropped by for a few hours. So that's
Where are they?
They're with their auntie.
Okay.
Yeah. Not
I
far.
thought you meant like they were away.
No. They just stayed. They did Easter with their auntie. She always does like an Easter hunt thing with them since they were little. And so the cousins got together and they did that again.
That's
very cute.
Isn't it? Good auntie.
Yes. My daughter's off on a she's going to Gordon Brown's got some, it's like PGL. He's got like a place where they go and do camp and sports and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And it's so funny because I actually thought it was Gordon, what's the one that cooks? Gordon
Ramsay.
I was there like, oh yeah, this is really good. She's gonna go on some cooking thing. And then when the paperwork came through, I was like, oh, Gordon Brown.
When's she going?
In a couple of days' time, she's gonna go. It's with the club the after school club. They've organised it, so it should be quite good. It's only for 2 days.
Oh,
okay, that's quite nice.
But the uncles and aunties have been very good this week. My brother had her and her cousin Bestie were together, so yeah, it's been kind of nice.
That's good. Oh, let's go then. All right, guys, let's get into it. It's been a crazy, crazy week. Sorry, I'm just trying to. I actually feel very tired, even though I have done a lot. Actually, I think. All right, guys. First up, dun 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 dun. As we reported in our main show, we talked about Kanye West and his potentially upcoming headlining perform appearance at Wireless Festival, but it has caused an outrage across the land. Politicians, religious groups, and community groups are calling out and saying, and not just those groups, even Black folks, lots of people are in a bit of a tizzy about Kanye's headlining, whether you're for him or against him showing up. It's getting to political levels. Sadiq Khan's come out, and now the UK government is deciding whether or not Kanye West should be allowed into the country following backlash over his planned wireless appearance. Now, I haven't actually, because it's breaking news, I haven't actually got, I don't know if I haven't seen any footage of someone actually saying this on official side. There's more commentary at the moment. There will be more news stories tomorrow. But ministers are considering whether West's presence would be conducive to the public good. Prime Minister Keir Starmer described the prospect of the performance as deeply concerning. And this stems from West's past anti-Semitic comments and anti-Black comments. Let's not just forget that, because the focus is mostly on his anti-Semitic comments.
Yes.
People are kind of passing over the very many anti-Black comments he's made as well.
The thing is, though,
and also,
you're right.
Companies like Pepsi, Diageo, and PayPal have withdrawn their sponsorship from wireless, which is putting the event itself under pressure. And organisations at the Board of Deputies of British Jews have called for the UK to refuse him entry. And the situation is further complicated by precedent with West previously denied entry to Australia over similar controversies. Tickets are still scheduled to go on sale. Tickets are still scheduled to go on sale, and thousands of people have said they're going to see Kanye no matter what. So I don't know what you guys think. How are you feeling? What do you think about this next update?
Go on, Farrah. What was you going to say?
I was going to say that the outrage isn't because of anything he said about Black people. That is what is interesting. The outrage is because of that. No, I know, but I know we know this, like as Black people, that he said some shit. But all of the conversation from everything I've read and all the people against it, they are talking about the fact that he has made some very heinous anti-Semitic statements. But no one is talking about the things that he said about Black people. So I find that extremely interesting. You know, Keir Starmer coming out and saying, oh, I'm deeply concerned. Fuck you, Keir Starmer, quite frankly. And I'm saying that however many minutes in we are to this flipping broadcast. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that Keir Starmer should be concerned about, which are more than words. He should be concerned about his mates dropping bombs on school children and no one saying anything. He should be concerned about the Palestinians all of a sudden are now going to be suffering the death penalty within 90 days because Israeli government have ruled to kill them all by hanging. He should be concerned about that. He should be concerned about an illegal war that President Trump is doing. He should be concerned about the fact that President Trump tweeted on Easter Sunday that he's going to rain hell down on Iran and drop bombs on all the infrastructure. He's got a lot more things that he should be concerned about rather than this. And that is not to say that I am actually here for anything that Kanye said, but, you know, the man said that he was sick. And are we not supposed to be forgiving?
I think really, and I hear all of the Black folks who were turning against Lauryn Hill and all of the various people that went to his concert as well. There was a whole list of them going out. Like these are all the people that were in attendance. And I hear it. I absolutely understand the cancellation of Kanye West. And I respect those voices. It's just the people in authority coming along and saying anything about him. That's where I'm like, it actually disgusts me. And in the face of everything that is going on, I really do want wireless to still go ahead. Just if we have utter lawlessness, let's have it for everybody, innit? Like then let's all have it. Like it shouldn't be that we are holding Kanye West to a higher moral standard than we are Benjamin Netanyahu. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it. So I don't know. I feel for the festival in a sense that you would know this, innit? When you're in a meeting and you were discussing who was going to be your headliner, you would know that Kanye West is going to come with a fight. But then when it goes to government level and now they may not even give him a visa, it's like, oh, fuck's sake. But let's see where it goes. I just feel that the government has way more shit to be dealing with than this overall.
Yeah, do you know what? It's annoying that there's you're forced to do a bit of whataboutery because of the state of the world today. Because I think I was saying that I can see and understand why people are up in arms about him headlining and him continuing to be booked, and there is consideration for actually. It's not for anyone else to be so up in arms at what he said than us, and it goes back to what I said on the main show about us not having a strong enough body that can affect people's bottom line when things like this happen. And this is where the disproportionate power structure makes it a problem, because I think what we've seen across the board, I've seen lots of commentary saying we're so empathetic, we're so forgiving. And it's not that you want to be a hard line, don't forgive anybody and lose your empathy, because that's something that makes us great as Black people. But at the same time, it in different circumstances, it becomes a problem when we're so forgiving and so forgetting. But it's that line where people talk about other communities, when someone in their community does something wrong. And I do think it's relative to whether you're inside the community or not. But on the outside looking in, it looks like when someone from a community, any other community does something wrong, their people seemingly rally around them and have their back, which is what we try to do as well. We try to have people's back, but then we can also be extremely judgmental, and it comes down to who you like to who you don't like. Because someone say, who's the priority? I give an R. Kelly or a Drake or someone did something similar, there might be a different voice saying, actually, no, you're right, he shouldn't be headlining. And there might be a stronger support of him, that person not headlining. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think sometimes our emotions are too tied to these things to look at it black and white, but to have a nuanced conversation in the face of what's going on in the world today is so difficult, because absolutely right, there are people that are allowed into the UK with no problem. Netanyahu can come into the UK, and Trump can come to the UK, and they're not banned, and they should not be welcome on this soil, considering everything that's going on this earth. And over a rapper that says heinous things, but if you look in the hierarchy of people doing shit, he's not killing anyone. But
you know, and I get it. I get that point. I just think it misses the context of where we all understand why Kanye should be cancelled. He started off shitting on Black folks, and nobody gave a hootenanny about it. That's why I'm like, I don't give a hootenanny about it, because you didn't care when he was saying slavery was a choice. You didn't care when he was wearing White Lives Matter tops. He was
saying some shit about Harriet Tubman.
Yeah, all of that.
It's only when he says something about the community that shall remain nameless. They are the ones now that everybody is up in arms about, who are also the same place in Israel that are committing a genocide. And it's like, no.
Do you know what they're arguing
for? That I'm like, absolutely. I'm not in the same way that they can have cognitive whatever they have all of the cognitive shits going on. I too can have that.
Yeah. In regards to wireless and how they kind of stay afloat, Charmaine Post said something good. Had an interesting perspective on it.
I've pulled out of Wireless Festival ahead of Kanye West headlining. What's actually really being highlighted here is a big why. Not why brands wouldn't want to be associated with anti-Semitism. Come on, that's not really up for debate, is it? We'll be clear, anti-Semitism is harmful and wrong. And once you acknowledge that, it raises another question. Is this about risk or power? Because if this is about harm, why is it that only certain types of harm seem to trigger immediate financial consequences? Because when corporate money moves this fast, it's rarely just about what was actually being said. It's also about how that risk is interpreted, how far it travels, and what it exposes brands to. Ye's anti-Semitic remarks moved into a category that is globally recognized, legally sensitive, and institutionally enforced, meaning that brands are not only reacting to the statement itself, but also to regulatory pressure, shareholder expectations, and how that association is judged across multiple markets. So let's ask the bigger question. What actually makes corporate money move? I mean, drill, rap music has narrated violence in Black communities for years, and brands stayed in the building, right? The World Cup hosted a tournament with documented worker deaths, and sponsors renewed their deals. And across football and more broadly, brands have continued to sponsor environments where racism has been reported repeatedly without the same immediate withdrawal of capital. But anti-Semitism triggered an immediate corporate exit. The question isn't whether one is worse than the other. It's what has to be true about a category of harm for corporate money to actually move. Now, here's where it shifts. Tottenham Hotspur recently were reported to have distanced from hosting him. This is no longer just marketing. This is infrastructure protecting itself. And that's when you know risk has escalated. Now, if I'm advising Wireless, I'm not panicking. I'm repositioning. First, replace corporate money with aligned money. Challenge brands, creator-led businesses, culture-first companies that benefit from proximity rather than safety. Second, monetize attention directly. Live streams, exclusive content, global access, because the audience hasn't gone anywhere. Third, break the sponsorship model. Stop relying on a few large partners and rebuild across multiple smaller deals. For example, stage partners, creator-led activations, and paid live stream slots. So no single sponsor holds the power, because the moment one brand can't pull out and destabilize you, you've taken back control. There's also a deeper insight. Cancellation only works when capital, distribution, and infrastructure move together. If the audience stays and the new money replaces old money, then this isn't cancellation, it's a reallocation of power. And if Wireless pulls this off, brands stop leading culture and start following it. What are your thoughts, though? Pepsi and...
What are your thoughts?
So spot on.
Spot on.
I was saying earlier on, me and Russ were talking about this, and I was like, I feel that there is enough. Like, I was like, I don't even care who the company is, who the people are. I just want Wireless to still happen.
Same.
And I really hope, other than this visa thing, because the visa could take it out, but that they do follow another model and money comes in and they are able to be like, fuck you to all of those people that pulled out, because it's not real. And that's the thing. This is, who cares about Pepsi? Fuck off to Pepsi. Like, literally, I really hope that other people step in so that we can have a true moment of a cultural shift where just because you have money doesn't dictate what morally we all can sit with. And once that happens once, it's a snowball. It will keep on happening. And that's what we need to take place. These are the parts of a revolution that I really am up for, the chaos of it all. I hope it happens. I hope they're not defeated. Kanye is just a vehicle for this, but it could be anybody. In the same way, it could be Bob Dylan. It could be Nika. It could be anybody that the establishment, the elites have decided you're on the outs. No, fuck you. We'll say who's on the outs because we won't attend. That's the difference. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's this is the opportunity for them to pivot.
Let's see what if the visa is blocked, then that's the only thing.
That's the only thing.
And it'd be interesting to what's the argue. I don't know. And the thing is, it's very interesting for we the people, because we the people, what do we fight? What's the fight? Because if Wireless pivot and Kanye's allowed entry, what's the act? Are you going to support Kanye despite his anti-black words or anti-Semitic words, whatever you feel, or his political stance, whatever he's done? Or are you going to support him because you're a fan? Or are you going because you want Wireless to be sold out, because then it shows that what's your stance once
it's funny because at this point I feel like it's more than one thing. I do, because I think what I'm struggling with is, and again, like I said at the very beginning, this is not to say that I support any of the heinous things that he said, because I don't. And I mean heinous things towards black people as well. But I think what I'm struggling with is how quickly that these corporations and the government have stepped in to talk about this when they are mute on a lot of other things that are a lot more important. So that's what I'm struggling with.
So what?
And part of me, because of that, wants to say, fuck it. Wants Wireless to pivot, wants Wireless to find another way. And even if Kanye doesn't end up coming for one reason or another, I want Wireless to actually find another way, because Pepsi are not an organization that they should be aligning themselves with anyway, because they are funding a genocide. So they shouldn't be aligning themselves with somebody like that. It's like how people can have the moral high ground over here when they're doing so much fucking bullshit on another place. It's like, seriously, you cannot talk. You do not have a leg to stand on.
No, they don't. I was always like, I would go to Wireless anyway. As I said when we first spoke about it, before we knew that Kanye was going to be there, and there was hopes that maybe it could be Jay-Z that is the headliner. I enjoy Wireless. I like it. So if I go, it's because I want to go, and it's not really because of Kanye. That's just an added kind of fuck you that it managed to happen. But generally, you know, we ain't got too many festivals in London anyway. So for that is probably why I would support Wireless above and beyond anything else. It's more for the festival scene.
I was thinking about, because again, we've removed ourselves from Wireless for age purposes. And then there was a thought of maybe Jay-Z. I was like, okay, I'd be at the front. Kanye said I'd be at the front, I'll be like this, side-eyeing myself and the world. But then, and with all the conversation that's been happening, I'm like, okay, so even Wireless themselves, because as you said, Farrahs, rightly so, like Wireless as a company, what do they stand for as well? Though they've been behind putting on black artists, and it is what it is, but then we also know, was it City Splash? What's the one that's got the white boys that run?
City Splash.
No,
reggae. Reggae.
Yeah.
Reggae Land. So then what? And then they're going to book Afrobeat artists without thinking about the cultural appropriation or the cultural misalignment with what they're doing. Who are the people behind Wireless? What do they stand for? It goes so deep. It goes so deep when you want to like make an actual song, because we're fighting to make Wireless win, but does Wireless really care? What does Wireless? It's all of those type of things that this I'd have to look into, and then it's like, can we just go to a concert and enjoy ourselves? Can we just go? Yeah. Even then, chugging along to Kanye, yeah, singing along, and he's here and all that stuff, and then maybe the next week he's going to be like, yeah, black people, you lot stink, and fuck you. And
probably will. It's Kanye.
Probably will.
It's like, but that's also, but it's hard because at the same time, I'm sitting there thinking, oh, how do I navigate myself to New York to go and see Jay-Z, who's a black capitalist? Just all of that stuff.
Yeah,
there's all of that stuff. It is, and it's very difficult in the space that we're in to even just function, because you know, the more you look into people, the more you or to organizations, sometimes they're not for the people, and it doesn't matter what people that is. They're just not for the people, and it's like, where do you stand on that? There's shops that we boycott now because of what they stand for, and every time, as I said, you do a little bit more research, there's more people added to the boycott list. I don't care about boycotting Pepsi. I don't drink it anyway, so it doesn't faze me. I've Coca-Cola on the boycott list, so them swapping one for the other, which they probably won't do. But I don't know. I think, again, my main issue is with the response to this, because when he was just saying anti-black things, people weren't giving a fuck. They didn't give a shit.
No
one was saying ban Kanye, apart from
If
us.
if he had stayed just on the shitting on black folks, like let's say like Candy Sowens just shitting on black folk, he would still be able to come over here. And she was the same when she was just shitting on black folks. It's only when they took task to Israel and Jewish people that things changed for them. And that's what I have a problem with.
Yeah.
Because truly all lives should matter, innit?
Right.
Every piece of prejudice.
One last thing, just to add to that, one last thing. Let's not forget, Keir Starmer didn't say fuck all about Diane Abbott when she was getting death threats. He didn't say nothing. Well, his mouth was shut.
He suspended her continuously.
Okay. That's what I'm saying about the lack of power, because they don't care. Trust me, if that group didn't have the political power, the industry power, the business power that we are not allowed to speak about candidly, then I think it'd be the same thing, because at the end of the day, we live in a world of white supremacy. Like, so that's even a difficult one.
But we're allowed to say that. That's the thing. Now, power isn't in the tongue. That doesn't mean
yes, of course,
money.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Obviously, when we talk about the corruption that a lot of artists have spoken about, that has made a lot of money, people a lot of money in the media spaces off of the backs, again, of black folk, you can't even talk about that. And that's the maneuvering where it's like, no, I'm not going to sail to their tune, because it's too corrupt on too many levels. The fact that we don't have power is also down to a few of those folks as well. Yeah. That now we should be like, oh no, you can't talk about them bad. No, it's muddy over here. Now, other folks can champion for them, but I feel like as a black person, there is a lot of nuance, and there is a power has been removed from us and vacated elsewhere.
But that's the only part where I'm like, when I say they don't care, I can't expect them to care because they don't care. They don't care about anybody but they. So that's that's the only thing I'm just like, it's not. I don't care that they don't care because they don't care. It's not because they don't care. They just don't care. It's crazy. It is crazy. What is white supremacy? Get a book, darling. Let's get.
I was wondering what you were saying there, and then I saw the comment. White supremacy is you asking what white supremacy is because you know clearly.
Plus, if you pay to play, darlings, we have our town hall. If you want to get involved in the chat, please drop your coins. Any donation is welcome. We like the higher end of donations, but whatever you got, drop it in the coffers, and you can bring yourself up to the stage and partake in the conversation. Now, let's move on to Farrah's take. What's your take this week, girl?
My take this week is about, so on April Fool's Day, I want to say, I feel like it was April Fool's Day in America. They finally took to the Supreme Court to hear about the birthright. So on Trump's first day, he signed he signed something saying that he wanted to do away with the 14th Amendment, which is basically stating that anyone who is born in the United States of America is automatically a citizen. As I said, it's in the 14th Amendment. So he signed a resolution to get rid of that, saying that America is the only place in the world, which is a lie, that allows this to happen. There's lots of other countries where if you're born there, you're automatically a citizen. So it was heard in the Supreme Court. Initially, a few of the local governments, the courts were saying that they were going to ban it, but the Supreme Court said that they didn't have the authority to do that, which is why it went to where it went. So I'm going to share with you some links that I've seen on the old Instagram where we can just have a look at it and then discuss people.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
You can.
Great. So first of all, what did you say?
So I love Desi.
Did you say you're dizzy?
I said I love Desi.
Oh.
We can't hear it though.
It's on mute.
That's weird.
It's on. I can see that. Oh,
it's on mute.
It's on mute.
Oh, sorry. Try this.
They argued he couldn't legally enter the country, despite having been born in the US. His parents.
Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties.
Will the Supreme Court let Trump take it away? In 1873, Wong Kim Ark was born in San Francisco to Cantonese immigrants who ran a general store. In 1995, returning from a trip to China, San Francisco Customs detained Kim Ark. They argued he couldn't legally enter the country. Despite him having been born in the US, his parents weren't US citizens. At the time, Chinese were excluded from becoming American. Now, birthright citizenship was a century-old practice in the US for whites. Only in 1968 did the 14th Amendment extend that to the native-born children of enslaved Africans, whom the law had categorized as property, not citizens. It proclaimed all persons born in the U.S. are citizens of the U.S. It would take 30 more years to define what all persons meant. After 3 years of legal battles, in 1998, the Supreme Court affirmed Kim Ark's U.S. citizenship. Wong Kim Ark acquired citizenship by birth within the US. That meant citizenship was everyone's birthright, regardless of their race or where their parents came from. That's stood for 130 years as the law of the land. Then, last year, President Trump issued an executive order contradicting the case law. Yesterday, in the same room that landmark ruling was issued, the court heard arguments from the ACLU's Cecilia Wong defending Kim Ark's legal precedent. A ruling is expected this summer. Meanwhile, Trump tweeted, "We're the only country in the world stupid enough to allow birthright citizenship." Nearly 36 countries around the world have birthright citizenship laws. You got birthright citizenship.
One more.
I don't want to see any jokes today, or nothing's funnier than the current timeline we live on. Marco Rubio was quoted saying, "Just because you were born on U.S. soil doesn't make you a citizen. Your parents must be U.S. citizens."
What?
That is really from the self-hating Latino named Marco Rubio, because his parents were Cuban immigrants. They were not citizens when he was born. But that's not true, because today the president of the United States did something that no other president has ever done in the history of this country. He attended a Supreme Court hearing on birthright citizenship. If you recall, on day one of his presidency, he signed an executive order revoking the 14th Amendment, the clause that says if you were born on U.S. soil, you are therefore a United States citizen or U.S. territories. That, he is claiming, is being interpreted too broadly.
It had to do with the babies of slaves and the protection of the babies of slaves. It didn't have to do with the protection of multi-millionaires and billionaires wanting to have their children get an American citizenship. Our country is being scammed. We're getting all of these people. They're selling the rights to them. People are making a big living, getting hundreds of thousands and even millions of dollars from bringing people in and saying, congratulations, your whole family is going to be a citizen.
Right. But the Trump administration's righteous indignation towards immigrants and towards citizenship and towards keeping specific people out of the country is rooted in racism. It is rooted in keeping brown people, Latinos, who are their de facto enemy right now, out of the country. And they say things like they're ruining the culture, or we're not culturally compatible. And that goes for Muslims as well. But if Marco Rubio is saying that people need to be born a U.S. citizen to U.S. citizens or they're immigrants, that means that Donald Trump needs to forfeit his birthright because he's the child of an immigrant. So was Donald Trump's father. Donald Trump's children, Ivanka, Eric, Donald Jr., their mother, Ivana, was an immigrant. Barron Trump and Slovenian robot Melania Trump are immigrants. So therefore, they shouldn't be American citizens. J.D. Vance's children and Usha Vance would not be citizens. So which is it? You want brown people, who is crazy to me because you're Cuban, to not have the right to be citizens in this country? Or is it you just want white people? And we know that's the case because the president has said on numerous occasions that he wants immigrants from nice places like Sweden and Scandinavia and Germany.
You say, why is it we only take people from shithole countries, right? Why can't we have some people from Norway, Sweden, just a few?
And Trump saying that people have abused this to come to this country and make money and profit off the country. Trump's family literally are products of European immigration after being exiled from Bavaria, making money off brothels, stealing from the government. You have literally 300 lawsuits against you for being a crook, a thief, and a scammer from Queens, New York. So the audacity of you to try to vilify people who are coming here for a better life, who are actually doing jobs that people like you would never do to help our economy and pay taxes, it's just racism. To come on TV and make this statement as a Cuban immigrant, the child of Cuban immigrants, I fear we've reached the lowest place this country can go. This country has no backbone, no moral compass, and it's just we're in the gutter. This timeline is the best script for Black Mirror next season. That's all I can say. It's April 1st.
One more. Oh, I'm on mute.
Tourism. Do you have any information about how common that is or how significant a problem it is?
It's a great question. No one knows for sure. There's a March 9th letter from a number of members of Congress to DHS saying, do we have any information about this? The media reports indicate estimates could be over 1 million or 1.5 million from the People's Republic of China alone. The congressional report that we cite in our brief talks about certain hotspots like Russian elites coming to Miami through these birth tourism companies. And I mean, here's the facts about it that I think is striking. Media reported as early as 2015 that based on Chinese media reports, there are 500 birth tourism companies in the People's Republic of China whose business is to bring people here to give birth and return to that nation.
Having said all that, you do agree that that has no impact on the legal analysis before us?
I think it's, I quote what Justice Scalia said in his Hamdan dissent, where their interpretation has these implications that could not possibly have been approved by the 19th century framers of this amendment. I think that shows that they've made a mess. Their interpretation has made a mess of the provision.
Well, it certainly wasn't a problem in the 19th century.
No, but of course, we're in a new world now, as Justice Alito pointed out, to where 8 billion people are one plane ride away from having a child who's a U.S. citizen.
Well, it's a new world, same constitution.
Their racism turns them insane.
So basically, go on.
Yeah, go on. I was just gonna say, I wouldn't even like if when they're talking about their cases, it was steeped in fact. I'd be like, okay, let's hear it out. Let's hear it out. Like 8 billion people are not a plane ride from going anywhere. There's probably not even 1 billion people that are able to travel, that have the means to. Like, it's like, let's just talk in facts of how it can actually happen. Like when they were doing Brexit over here, and it was like, you know, there's going to be millions of people knocking at the door and trying to run into the country, and there wasn't. Let's just be honest about the thing. And then overall, the land ain't even yours.
That part.
So this is what's funny about the land. Not the land not even being there. There's a part where that man is being questioned again, and they ask him whether or not he believes that Native Americans should have the right to citizenship, and he's basically I'm in an R in and saying, well, I'm not sure. Well, maybe they should do. I'm not sure. I'd have to look into it. You'd have to look into whether or not Native Americans have the right to American citizenship. But the whole thing I find hilarious. Again, it's steeped in hypocrisy when you look at all of Trump's flipping line of children. Not one of them actually should be a legal citizen then, according to his take on the 14th
I think
Amendment.
it's one. I think it's Tiffany.
Is it one?
Tiffany.
Oh, I always forget about that one.
Yeah.
That's not Ivanka's, is it? That's,
no.
That's
Tiffany's
why, yes.
She's got an American mum.
That's it. So all his kids, apart from Tiffany, all of their mothers were not legal citizens when they were born. Every single one of them. Trump himself is a child of immigrants. Mark Rubio is a child of immigrants. So all these people that are standing up and talking, what are you going to do when this? Let's say this goes through. What are you actually going to do?
Nothing, because they're not going to.
Yeah, it'll be all for the newborns. Yeah, no, Will Smith were aware of that. We spoke about that. We spoke about that. They didn't tell lots of people about it, and folks were here, and then they were going to renew their passports, and then found out that they don't have citizenship. Yeah. I think I don't agree with it unless you can absolutely prove that your country is at human capacity. Mm-hmm. That's the only way where I'm like, okay, and we don't, is there any such place other than flipping India, I think, at this moment in time, maybe parts of China, where you can say there just isn't enough ground space for the humans that are occupying it. Like, I don't believe it. Other than that, I just feel like it's really racist. And you can't be raping countries, taking their resources. And when folks need to leave their homelands to come here to work for various different reasons, you're then talking about you're going to use them as a workhorse, but they can't get a passport. No, it's out of all. It's wrong.
That's what.
That's just morally bankrupt. It's really wrong. You can't do that shit.
That's what it is.
Definitely.
It's the wrong people are making decisions, because there's nothing wrong with protecting your borders in a sense if you feel like there's an over influx or something like that. But when you're destroying other countries, destroying other lands, and you yourself are an immigrant, and worse still, you're inviting the right immigrants, and you're, in their words, the right white immigrants. Oh yeah, lovely. What did he say? From Switzerland, the South Africans are welcome. So you're not even saying true to your word. And then also someone can pay for a stupid gold Trump card and come in if you've got millions, and then that. It's just a corrupt, as everyone's saying, it's a corrupt system that makes no sense and just moves the goalposts for anyone that they want to come in.
Yeah, no,
he was charging, and probably is still charging, $5 million for the gold Trump visa or whatever it was called, $5 million. But then in this statement, he's saying there's too many rich people too many rich billionaires out there who are trying to come over and make take advantage of the country and get citizenship. What, like your mate Elon, like him? And then over here,
Elon is now basically paying women over the internet to have his kids. Like, what type of shit is that? No, come on, this is ridiculous. And I hope it does. So what they're saying, summer, it will be reviewed properly. Mm-hmm. I hope it doesn't go through like how it was put through over here. Wasn't it put through under Thatcher? I feel 83.
Probably, yeah, because she was in power until 89, I want to say, or 90. No, 89, I think she was in power till.
I feel like it was under Thatcher's watch. Yeah,
it probably would be. It probably would be under her, because the thing is, like you said, we've spoken about it before. I actually know someone who that happened to him. He thought he was a citizen because he was born here, and then he went to get a passport, and they said to him, "What do you mean you want a passport? You're not a citizen." So it happens. And then over here, also got Nigel Farage wanting to do his nonsense with indefinite leave to remain, but the UK the government are also trying to do something about that. Hold on, let me see if I can share. I've got a clip about that too.
Nigel Farage.
Nigel Farage is basically.
I mean, the reason why people aren't talking about the UAE because we're not in the UAE. I don't understand. Someone's saying that why aren't people talking about why you can't get passports in the UAE, but I think that's a unnecessary equivalence.
Here's what you need to know. My name is Zing Singh, and I'm a journalist who's covered immigration for places like Vice, and I made this viral video about indefinite leave to remain. Well, guess what? Big changes are coming to the rules. Now, if you don't know what leave to remain is, it's called something like permanent residency in other countries. You come here legally as a worker or student or whatever, and after paying thousands in fees, you can apply for the right to stay without needing any more visas. Right now, you need to be here for 5 years before you can apply for leave to remain. But the Home Office is proposing to extend that to a baseline of 10 years, which can be reduced or increased depending on your circumstances. For instance, if you consistently earn over 125K, you can qualify within 3 years. Earn over 50K and can qualify within 5 years. Bear in mind the median annual salary in the UK is £39,000. So that's a lot of money you need to be earning. The 10-year period also decreases if you work in healthcare or teaching or if you volunteer, but only by 3 to 5 years. But the government also wants to be able to increase how long it takes for you to qualify by even more. If you're a low-skilled or medium-skilled worker, which includes social care workers, you'll start from a baseline of 15 years. And if you receive public funds like housing or child benefit, your qualifying period can be increased by an additional 5 to 10 years. But the people who will be worse off under this are refugees, who will have to wait 20 years in total. So who will be affected by the new rules? The government wants this to apply to everyone in the country who has not yet already received indefinite leave to remain. So basically, you might be a year away from qualifying right now, and you'll get hit by these new rules regardless. Now, it's important to note that this new policy hasn't come in yet. There was a public consultation on the proposals which finished in February. That means there's still scope for the government to make tweaks in response to that consultation. But the Home Office has said she wants to introduce the changes by this autumn. That doesn't necessarily mean they'll come into force immediately. It might be left until 2027. She hasn't said. But if you or someone you know is on track for indefinite leave to remain, let them know about these proposed changes. It could change their life and not in a good way.
Disgusting.
It's just
absolutely disgusting. Do you see those numbers? 20 years. 20 years of being here, paying tax, being in this country legally, and then you have to wait 20 years for indefinite leave to remain. It's disgusting.
What So what's the argument here that we're not talking about the UAE, we're talking about America and the UK? What's the difference? Why are we not talking about the UAE doing the same thing? Because I'm just
it's a different. You know what? Little Shine just spelt it out there. Read it. It literally is. It's not the same. It's not a democracy. They don't have the same channels of entry. There's no what. Why are we going to talk about it? They have their systems that are not the same as the Western world. So it's done and dusted. They've got their ways of doing things.
Does that help?
I don't know what there would be to discuss around it, really. And also the difference is we don't discuss everything from everywhere. We don't discuss what's going on in Norway because we've got like 0.1% of people watch our channel from Norway. Now there's a large difference because it's 30% watch our channel from the US. So we include their news because it affects over here as well. So you see, and we always talk from a Black perspective as well. So there's that. Maybe you're new to the channel, but that's where we come from. Okay? Thank you.
And also, as you just said, just to reiterate that, what America does, we follow behind quite quickly. So it's good to know what's going on in America because, as we said, Nigel Farage and Keir Starmer, and it doesn't even matter which bloody party you're aligned with at this point. They follow suit.
Policies are following the same suit, basically.
Right wing fascism and right wing isms are on the rise. So everyone's borrowing from everyone, and everyone's fucked of color wherever you are. So,
and I think there is definitely been kind of like the Reddit streets. There's a real sway to move away from American companies, because this country effectively wouldn't be able to run. We are being run by American companies. Like most of our food supplies are coming in through American companies, like Asda being owned by an American corporation, like Amazon being so we have what they do affects our life over here. Aside from who is watching us on our channel as well. So we have to keep abreast of what's going on, because in effect, we're being run by American companies, and we don't have UK companies actually doing similar. Like we don't have a UK equivalent to Amazon to rival it, to actually be like, oh, we're going to buy from Sahara. Like we don't have that. And that's a problem for us over here as well. Because if shit goes wrong in America, it's like it affects us.
Yeah.
And I really do feel like we have to separate things out a little bit more if we're going to be secure, especially as they're basically ruining their own country. It's like, actually, this could affect us over here.
Exactly that. Thank you. Hope that helps. Let's move on. Oh, have you finished, Farrah?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get into Nana's Alternative Corner.
My Alternative Corner. Okay. It's actually interesting because it follows on nicely from Farrah. It's about birth and clones. Now, you remember in the 80s, yeah, that we all had Cabbage Patch Kids. Like it was a big thing, the dolls, and everybody had one. And it was like the dolls came with a birth certificate. Did any of you two have it? Yeah.
I never had it, but I remember it. I wanted one. I didn't have one.
I wanted one. Also, my mum was not going to queue up for a doll or anything like that, so I never had one. But apparently the dolls came with a birth certificate.
They did.
Now, I was scrolling online. I'm going to show you what I saw that took me down a rabbit hole, and we can discuss it.
I think...
Do you think you know about this?
No, I feel like we've even spoken about it before on one of the shows, but let's go.
Okay.
I didn't want to know. So I was like, I think I know where this is going, but I wanted. I didn't want to. I wanted to see if I was right.
Okay, all right. This is an interesting guy called Indigo, and he is at a conference. Hang on, let me get this going. I have to do what Farrah did. Can you guys hear?
Not at the moment.
The theory that there's so many clones coming into Europe, right? That would mean there's even any clones in this room right now. There must be so many.
80% of the Caucasian population.
80% of the Caucasian population are clones. So it's not about racism. So also,
it's nothing to do with race.
Is there any science? Is there any signs that you could have a clone in your life, that you're in love with a clone? Like I know a lot of people say that they don't think, they don't have internal dialogue. Is there anything you've come across?
That's exactly what I was about to say. So Dolores Cannon did the work on this. So Benjamin Franklin also wrote about this, saying that there was a dire need to fill America with Caucasian people. So for whatever reason, they decided to do that. They say that there is no inner dialogue, and they called it whitewashing. But Dolores Cannon believed that 80% of the population that look like me can't trace their family tree back past really the 1800s with any accuracy, and we refer to them today as NPCs.
Wow.
She said they were soulless. I don't think anything living is soulless. I think we all have a connection. But it was called whitewashing, for want of a better expression. And it was to make out, and they did this at the World's Fairs and Expositions, they would have on display people from indigenous tribes, and they would bring children from Africa, put them on display, and they were labelled as primitive and savage.
Wow.
And this was specifically to dumb down and remove history. And this is connected to the Moors from Africa, who built some of the most beautiful architecture in the world. They wanted everyone to consider them as primitive, and Tartaria was removed for a similar reason. So we would consider Moscow, Russia, to be behind, a little bit backward, and that was another part of it. So that's what happened. And what I'd suggest people do is watch the second film that Alice Guy produced, which is on YouTube. It's called Midwife to the Upper Classes, and you'll see an example there of where the middle class couple come.
All right, so I saw that and I was like, hang on, that's a little crazy. Like, can we really say sweeping numbers of Caucasian people have been cloned? And so then I went down the rabbit hole of actually looking into this to find out if there was anything on YouTube. Like he said, I couldn't find what he pointed me to, but then I found another video explaining early cinema and the depiction of it. And I remember seeing one of these cards that when I was a kid in a shop that had a baby on it that went around. So I just want to share that, and for us to have a bit of a discussion about cloning, and if you think that you have met a clone as well. I will show you that. Do you think you have seen a clone before, though? Just quickly while I'm setting it up.
I don't think I have, because I don't know what to look out for. But what I did think this story was was Cabbage Patch, similar to the Wayfair scandal, and that Cabbage Patch was being traded as representation as trafficking kids. That was another kind of folklore thing that was attached to Cabbage Patch.
Yeah. It literally is. It literally is that as well. It's all connected.
But meeting a clone, no, to be honest, I don't think I've met someone that I met dodgy people. I'd probably say alien before clone.
Okay.
So I don't think I've met someone who's.
That footage you just saw is real. A woman in a corset standing in a painted garden. She reaches behind an oversized cabbage. She pulls out a living baby. She sets it on the ground like produce. Then she does it again. That film is from 1900. It is the oldest surviving narrative film in existence. The woman playing the fairy is Yvonne Mugnier-Serand. The director is Alice Guy Blash. And nobody talks about why this particular story was the first one cinema ever told. February 1896. Paris. A 22-year-old secretary named Alice Guy walks down Boulevard Poissonnière. She is heading toward the cabarets of Montmartre. But she stops at a storefront she has never noticed before. The windows are lit. Inside, against the wall, are rows of glass and metal boxes. Inside those boxes are living human babies, premature infants, some small enough to fit in a man's palm. They are lying in machines modeled after chicken egg incubators, because that is exactly what they are. The inventor, a French engineer named Alexandre Lyon, patented this device on October 28, 1889. He based it on poultry equipment, and he funded the entire operation by charging the public admission to come watch newborns fight for their lives. 50,000 visitors paid to see these babies in the first year alone. Alice Guy was one of them. Her granddaughter, Regine Blash-Bolton, confirmed this decades later. Alice walked into that storefront, saw infants displayed in glass boxes for paying strangers, and 3 months later created the first narrative film ever recorded. A fairy harvesting babies from a cabbage garden. The Art Nouveau poster advertising Lyon's exhibition makes the connection even more explicit. Designed by Adolfo Hohenstein, it shows a nurse cradling 3 infants. Behind her, vines sprout baby heads in place of flowers. Drawings of children growing like botanical specimens fill the background. This poster hung on the streets of Paris in 1896. Babies depicted as things that grow on plants, not born, grown. That visual language appeared on a Paris boulevard before the postcards, before the dolls, before any of it. Now here is where most people who have covered this topic start. The postcards. Between 1900 and 1920, hundreds of thousands of postcards flooded Europe and North America, showing babies growing in cabbage patches, babies being pulled from the earth like vegetables, babies tended by gardeners and delivered to couples who browse through them like shoppers selecting fruit. These were not produced by a single company running a campaign. They came from dozens of studios across Germany, France, Russia, Spain, Britain, and the United States. Multiple languages, multiple artistic styles, no documented coordinating source. Art historians classify them as whimsical birth announcements. sentimental imagery, harmless folklore. And they are partially right. In France, children had been told for centuries that boys come from cabbage patches and girls from rose bushes. French parents still call their babies mon petit chou, my little cabbage. In Scotland, children placed cabbage leaves outside to ask fairies for siblings. In Ireland, you were told you were found under a stalk of cabbage. The folklore is old and widespread, so let me address this directly. Maybe the postcards are exactly what our historians say they are. Birth announcements based on folk tradition, charming, innocent, unconnected to anything darker. If this were the whole picture, I would accept that explanation and move on. But the timeline refuses to stay innocent, because during the exact decades these postcards circulated, between 1900 and 1920, the largest mass displacement of children in American history was underway, and the scale of it is difficult to process.
I will stop it there. So I was truly fascinated by this, because it seems like and he goes on to actually depict this starting from like the 1700s as well. For like 300 years, there seems to be an injection of white babies flowing from Europe to the Americas and populated in lots of different ways. And there's lots of different stories to it, but it doesn't make sense for how many humans there are and for how many children turned up on the orphan trains, which is documented in history, with kids being shipped over to the Americas. I feel like they were being grown. I don't know. Again, I don't know if I'm mad, guys, but honestly, this feels very real to me, that there was something going on and there was a whole load of people that are cloned that are in America. What do you guys think?
You know, the thing that then I think someone in the chat has test tube babies and things like that. So cloned, it's so interesting because cloned makes me think of like a bunch, like a factory line of robots. Like obviously not robots, but you know what I mean. Whereas I wonder if it's the same. I guess it's the same thing. But if there was a factory of babies being created and born because they wanted to populate the world with whites because they were scared of running out because they knew that they were in minority, I wouldn't put it past anybody. It's just funny that
sounds too crazy. Like really, with how they are now, with eugenics, with actually
no, it's not crazy.
I think it's being like I'm going to have lots of kids. I'm literally like, I don't think this is that wild.
I don't think it's that wild. I think it's a clone part of it that makes it, because that's why it makes me think of a copy and paste machine, like literally 3D printing kids.
But I suppose what it is do we really think they stopped with Dolly the sheep?
No, definitely not.
And I suppose like we've talked about it before, like when we were talking about aliens, sometimes things that you see in films, they're telling us part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
It could explain a lot about some crazy people in the world. But I don't know why they would do all this science and then stop at a sheep.
And they're definitely not going to
No, I think they've definitely done some shit. But I don't
know. The population explosion in America, just the sheer amount of white people that are there as well. I am like, this could actually make sense. To be able to populate a space with so many white people. From where? Where was this huge migration from? And where was the empty lots in Europe then? If loads of people were going. Like, you know, when you're just like,
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Because when you think about how many people were transported in slavery, and there's a massive gap in where those people came from.
Yes.
I don't know enough. I don't know enough about the Europeans and what that left. I know about small towns maybe, but I don't know enough about entire countries and how they were left once people started emigrating to America.
I think so even the premature babies, as somebody that has had two, you don't have time from when you have the child to incubator for the child to have been transported somewhere, for a man in a shop to have placed them in the incubator. Like, it's like, this doesn't make sense. How many people were out here giving birth, having a whole load of premature kids, that he would be able to have a space like that in France? in a shop, but they also had similar going on in Coney Islands as well. And it's like, yeah.
But then I do think that there's lots of, someone said it in here, there's lots of human trafficking. So if there's human trafficking going on and they're abusing women and these women are having babies, okay, don't get me wrong, the number that are in the incubators in those shops is crazy to me. But I wouldn't put it past people doing stuff like that in order to just have people making babies, and that's all they're doing.
I wouldn't put it past science getting involved. I wouldn't put it past them just having human baby making factories. And I mean, you know, when they were breeding blacks to make sure they had workers, an abundance of workers, they definitely could easily have bred white people to keep the population populated. And especially when you've lost bodies to war, hundreds and thousands of millions of people to war, waging war, and your numbers are depleting. And despite what white supremacy tells you, they're the minority globally. They're the global minority. By pretending to be the majority. So there's always going to be a line. And I wonder if, I mean, look, there's loads of displaced children from war. There's going to be orphans of war. And there's definitely going to be, it's the cloning part that threw me. I
feel like they may have mixed them all in there, all of those factors, but I still have a part of, and it could just be my mind, even the whole thing of getting us used to saying test tube baby, and that being such a indoctrination. So we're not saying clone, we're saying test tube baby, but is it not kind of the same thing? But that's the part. Even if you go through IVF and they take your eggs, because again, you are relying on an institution taking your stuff, and they say that they're freezing it. We don't know what the hell they're doing. And, you know, I've said it on the pod many a time, like I was prepared to go down that whole route of sharing eggs with somebody. I don't know if I had done it and I could have produced lots of eggs, I don't know what they're going to do with my eggs. Actually don't, but they have that stuff. You leave it in the institution. So we don't know what they're doing. We don't know
what goes on. And I think it was someone saying I don't think they had the technology in the 1700s. They were doing a lot.
How did the pyramids get here? Like,
you have to remove yourself from that, because we're only, as the common civilians who aren't up in those behind those scenes, we don't know even a smidgen. They've kept a lot from us because, first of all, they don't need us to know, because they're going to be going off doing it themselves. They can't keep power. They can't keep control. And even if we didn't have corrupt leaders, I actually think it's responsible not to let everybody just know what going on anyway. But it's just that we're ruled by a bunch of corrupt mother effers. That's the problem. But if we were ruled by great people, I wouldn't want my people to know the stuff that I discovered anyway, because it would go, that's when it starts to corrupt. And that's why they are corrupted. We don't know what technology they had in 1700. For all we know, they had everything patterned. And so let's drip feed it to these people, because we give them everything. We got into everything now. We got too much. Everything's gone crazy because humans can't control themselves. Let's bring it back to the days when we didn't have so much in abundance, and come back to community and people and loving each other and actually talking and communicating and doing human commune. We got too much right.
I think they do that every so often.
Yeah, man.
Humanity reaches a state. Yeah. And then they do a great reset, whether it's God, I don't know, or our own self-destruction. And then there is a great flood. There's too many stories of almost every type of human around the world that has the great reset story. And if you just go to Egypt and look at what is being depicted, there's flying machines, things that look like spaceships. It's like, obviously technology reached somewhere and got wiped out.
It had to. Yeah, it absolutely had to. And I do believe that you know, we're only privy to what we're privy to. And I think that the ancient Egyptians, and not only the ancient Egyptians, like ancient civilizations in Africa, were doing things that people cannot replicate now. So how do we know?
They can replicate it, but they don't want to, because like, what can we do here? It's all, I don't know. I don't, even when they drop at this point, even when they're telling you your results, they don't even know. Like, if you don't get consistent, even if you ever do have a consistent doctor, you just can't trust anyone. Even my doctor doing my test results, like, what? Are you sure? Because the other day,
was it actually my blood? I'm always a bit like that. Is it actually my result?
No, but my one is when they lose my shit. Like I've had far too many times I've gone to the doctors and had blood tests and smear tests and all types of different tests. And then when it comes to results, they're like, oh, we've lost it. You need to come back. Why are you losing my shit? What are you doing with it?
I was so nervous when I had my what do we call it? Fibroids. I can't remember the name of the operation. When they were looking at my fibroids, and they said, "Oh, we removed a few. You were fine. Your fibroids aren't too big, but we removed a few polyps." I'm like, what? Well, that's just tissue. That's where I could go and see a queer walking down the street, and see 12 of them. Like,
it's true. Even me, I had my lipoma removed the other day, and they're like, "Do you want to see it?" Yeah, I want to see it. But they could. That's my tissue. They could literally make another me. Because after they showed it to me, I didn't see them put it in a bin. I don't know what they did with it.
What you're not, when you give birth, you're not allowed to have your placenta anymore? Or?
No, you're not. No, I don't think you've ever been able to hear. But I think in America, in some hospitals, you can ask for it. Yeah. But I definitely not in the NHS. You can't. They won't give it to you. So again, what are they doing? New? What are they doing with your placenta?
Is that new though? Because I swear, one of my cousins kept their placenta.
I think it has been rolled out within infections. It may not be that new, but definitely there are. I know my NHS trust. You are not. Nobody can take it out.
Look at that, but therefore they want to take it and use it for stem cells.
It's interesting because Kufro cut from a different cloth. Okay, they can keep it in America, but. And Americans can get their blood type, all that stuff. And like I said over here, it's a mission to get your actual blood type over here and all that stuff, unless you're pregnant or unless you're seriously ill and you really need to know your blood. Like, it's hard. It's interesting why over here it's hard. Other countries it's not as hard. But no matter what, I wouldn't put America being the first place to do all the DNA testing. And UK, I mean, they're in cahoots anyway. And
I just
But then maybe there's a reason why there's free healthcare, because you go into it and you're like, oh, it's free. Yeah. Have at it.
Is that not the thing? Nothing is free.
Have at it.
So we don't know what they are doing, but yes, this is just another alternative story, just for people to think about. Why are there so many white folks? Like, where do they come from? And why were there so many kids being trafficked? I think these are all things for us to sit down sometimes and ponder. And yes, I think it was Sora that said about Robbie Williams. His reptile story is on the doc. I will come to it, as well as Britney Spears has a similar one as well. Somebody shape-shifting in her face. We will discuss the reptilians soon.
Okay, let's get to the rest. So first up, we're going to talk about, we spoke about it on the main show, but we wanted to go into a little bit of a deep dive of what happened in Clapham Common and whether it is it racist to call it out, or do Black people lack accountability? Because there's lots of defense and criticism of how this is reported. So first of all, I'm going to show you guys who didn't know about the kids running amok in Clapham High Street the other day. I'll share a video of that, what happened, and then some racist comments, and then some.
Oh, I let you touch it. You tried to chip it. Clapham High Street just became a literal no-go zone. For the second time this week, a massive crowd of teenagers has stormed local shops in what looks like a coordinated social media flash mob. Supermarkets like M&S were forced to bolt their doors as groups rampaged through the aisles. This isn't just a one-off, it's a viral trend that is starting to paralyse London's high streets. The Met Police have flooded the area with a dispersal order, but the tension is still sky high. Is this just a temporary craze or a sign of deeper issues in the city? Join the debate in the comments and follow for the latest on the London streets.
So that's the hyperbole. I haven't heard of any more steaming, so it's pretty much nipped in the bud. However, what is causing the violent teen link-ups? Let's get a little bit of commentary from our main UK commentary.
Mark Spencer said that the government must give police the resources they need to tackle crime effectively. And this follows a number of incidents of young people causing large-scale disorder.
As we've been reporting, large groups have been seen gathering and causing violence in South London and in Birmingham in what have been called linkups. And there are fears that these could continue and spill over into the bank weekend. Katie Rickett is in Rochdale for us this morning. She's there because the police in Rochdale
linkups.
a dispersal order in place after serious antisocial behaviour began there a few days ago. What exactly is a dispersal order and how does it work, Katie?
Good morning, Richard and Kate. Well, basically, this is a power given to the police. If they've seen antisocial behaviour escalating, they can put one of these orders in place, and it allows them to dissipate any groups or individuals that they feel might start causing problems. So it was put in place 11:30 yesterday morning. It's in place until 11:30 on Saturday, and it's after groups of teenagers caused damage to a business and in the city centre. So a preventative measure trying to basically quell something before it really kicks off. And now it's not known whether this the problem on Wednesday was because of a social media call out like it was in Clapham, but of course it comes just days after that one, doesn't it, where Snapchat and TikTok roused groups of young people, messages put on there roused groups of young people to congregate in Clapham. They were attacking premises. They attacked police officers, 4 police officers injured, 6 teenage girls were arrested. And in an unprecedented show of frustration, the retail director of Marks and Spencer's, which was just one of the businesses involved, has put out this letter basically calling out the government and the police for what they're doing about antisocial behaviour. And it says that rather than getting any better, it's getting more brazen, more organised and more aggressive.
Oh, it's off.
So mute.
We got no sound.
Have you not? It's playing loud on my end. One sec. Sorry, I wanted to cut to then people reacting instead of going to the whole of that story. And I thought we had sound. Sorry. Let's see if this is working.
BB News.
Yeah, because we got...
It's interesting that there was no footage of the people in Rochdale, isn't it? There's footage of Clapham, but there's no footage of Rochdale. Very interesting.
Nicole in the chat just said that it happened in Milton Keynes yesterday as well.
Yeah.
No footage of that either.
Okay, hold on. Can you not hear it?
No.
Play? No.
Yeah?
No.
Why? Okay.
I don't know what just happened. It was like fine on the other woman. Then as soon as you switched over, sound went.
All right, hold on. To be fair, I didn't know about. I was looking at the London stories, so I hadn't seen. Is it working? Is it working?
Play. It's not playing. No.
All right. Let me stop sharing and come back again.
Yeah, maybe it's that. I was looking around for more on it, and it all seemed to be from a few days ago. I didn't know that the kids in other areas had kept it going, because I know in London they seem to have got it under control, but I didn't.
Retail consortium.
Yeah.
Okay.
Estimating that last year there were 5.5 million incidences of shoplifting, and many of them violent and abusive. And I've been out here on the high street in Clapham asking people here whether that's something they're worried about.
I think a stronger police presence will kind of shut that down, but I think it also needs to kind of go deeper into the system where we're kind of helping these troubled kids get like better opportunities so that they don't resort to this kind of stuff.
It was a bit unsettling, so you don't feel as safe, but yeah, I still walk around, and I still feel like it's a good area to live in, right? So yeah, I don't see it as a major issue, but definitely something to pay attention to.
And the majority of people who shoplift, I think, do it all the time. But to get away with it, and the shops, the shops has a security on their door and everything, and probably in the shop. So you could say they're not doing their job either.
Well, we're here on Clapham High Street after 2 different instances of teenage antisocial behaviour in the last week. Hundreds of teenagers
how have they mixed up the two together with general shoplifting and what happened with the teenagers? I'm not understanding the correlation.
Can you hear?
So whatever the hell they they then proceeded over. We're watching it now. If you're watching on TV, they then proceeded over to Clapham Common, where they tried to set the whole place on fire. The police, their reaction to this was to basically watch, and they made 2 arrests. That's not good enough. So that happened on Saturday and Tuesday, and there are great fears that it's going to happen all over the country, other areas of London, because it's a social media thing where these kids, they call them linkups, and they all go on X and TikTok and Instagram, and they all turn up at the same place and they cause merry hell. They're basically terrifying physical riots. After this, and amid all these fears, the London Mayor, Sadiq Khan, cropped up and said, London is a safe city. Well, I've got a lot of arguments about that for a kickoff, but that is not the time. This is not the time to say that, is it? Given what we were seeing in Clapham.
It's not at all. And I was a young PC at Clapham in 1989. I started there, and I was also a detective inspector there about 5 or 6 years later. And simply that would not have happened in 1989. There would have been, I reckon, 60 or 100 arrests, never mind 2 or 3. And the message it sends out to people is to be afraid. You know, it's no good the mayor saying, oh, it's safe and all that. People can't help but noticing there's something wrong. You know, that these people are out of control. Not only are they out of control, but you had the detective chief superintendent at Lambeth saying that you know, you've got to look out for the consequences. Well, what are the consequences of it? These kids, they don't see any consequences. No one gets arrested, and they can just keep doing it.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway,
so
like I was saying before, funny, there's no footage of anything happening in Rochdale, is there? Anywhere, this happened in multiple other places in the country, but they're focused on Clapham, where they are predominantly black people. And there weren't only black people doing that shit, but that's their focus. And it isn't only a London-based thing, but that's their focus. It's very interesting.
Yes, so there's that. So there's the lack of footage, which I wonder if it's going to come out, because if it happened over Easter, if there will be more tomorrow, I'm going to keep a very good eye on that, see what comes out, if there's anything more. I mean, it's not hard to get news because the news doesn't sleep, so it's interesting. But yes, but with that aside, it's going on in Rochester. There's this and there's that. There has been conversation about the disproportionate reporting, but then also there's a conversation which we had was, is there any type of a lack of accountability from black folks on this? Are we reacting to the racism and the disproportionate reporting, which we know is going to happen? Are we looking at what our kids are doing, or should it not be the case? And whatever, what do you guys think?
I think the reporting is incorrect as well, though. Because from everything that I've heard and people that are in the chat now, they're saying that people didn't actually fear for their life. It was more annoying than it was violent. And the fact that that man's on GBN News talking about they want us to set the place on fire. What? Unless you mean it like, oh, they're just causing a havoc and they're setting the place on fire. Or do you mean it literally set the place on fire? Because it didn't look like there was anything like that happening.
I didn't see
there has been no reports of arson attacks. Because if there was, we know that would have been out here. Front news. If there
we would have seen the fire.
we would have seen the fire. And there would have been more people arrested. But also, it's just a case of that they didn't interview. The group that they're talking about here. They didn't interview anyone from that group, which I also find very interesting. They didn't interview any of the shopkeepers along Clapham Common. They didn't interview any of them. They just interviewed a few bystanders. That was it. So.
I don't know if that's necessarily, because what were they? Why? What it would have been worse.
They're local to the area.
Thank you.
So as a shopkeeper, you're probably going to know what has caused the powder keg for it to spill over. You would know as a shopkeeper the environment of that high street that would have allowed these kids to even think that they could do that there. That's where local policing. If you are like, this is a street that we can do this in, because there aren't any police that are around here. Like Will Smith said, the police station had closed 15 years ago. Yeah. They don't necessarily pick places from, let's do here. There is generally a bit of a vibe of we could do that there.
Yeah, definitely.
And as a shopkeeper, you would be able to say our high street has deteriorated so this could actually take place. But then it turns the discussion away from the kids being there to social. But for GB News, all they want is the exaggerated, like, oh, these kids are feral and they came out here.
Exactly.
Now that's one side of it. They're flipping bored. And who is to blame for their boredom? It is the measures that we were all paying into, our tax money going into youth centers and stuff for them to do. And it wasn't too long ago that schools were supposed to open up. Every school was supposed to open up in the holidays and after school, and they were supposed to have provisions for young people. That was supposed to happen, and it didn't really come into, well, after the Labour government put that in, we had the Conservatives for 15 years, and they never fully committed to that community space, which has been lost. So yes, they're lucky this doesn't happen every day and every holiday.
Exactly.
Realistically, you're actually lucky that that isn't what it is about. But I mean, two days of steaming with the world as it is, I think London should be like, you know what, it's not so bad. It's not so bad, really.
Let's get what Elaine's perspective on this.
Just a quick announcement. People who don't have kids, shut the fuck up about how we are raising ours, because I don't understand how you can be speaking about parenting when you ain't pushed out not one blood clot pick me yet. Yes, I agree that parenting in this day and age needs to be stepped up. And yes, I agree that also kids are having kids. But I don't expect kidless motherfuckers to be speaking about how we need to be parenting our children. It's half term right now. Do you know how much half term club is? It's almost £60 a week for half the day for one pitney. You understand? Can you imagine having 3 or 4? You have to beg friend and beg this one and ask your older child, oh, can you look after your brothers and sisters? Come and have to go work. And don't get me started on nursery fees, starting from 0 to 3 years old, that are more than your mortgage or rent. And if you earn £1 over that threshold, you are responsible for that full amount. They don't subsidize it the way you think they subsidize it. You understand? And it's even worse when you're a single parent. And the thing that really pisses me off as well is when they're attributing this youth chaos and all of these sorts of things in Croydon. Oh, it's the black people. It's the black people. It's the black community's fault. And I'm saying, okay, cool. Really, is it? Okay, let's run this back one time. And black kids are getting top grades, winning science competitions and performing well in the arts. Is that attributed to the black community? Does the media turn up there and say, yeah, it's because of the black community? No. They say, oh, look at the youth today. Oh, they're so bright. Oh, it's amazing to see British youth do so well. And none of you people brag about that. You scroll on. But when it comes to chaos and violence and disruption, and it happens in a certain part of London, all of a sudden your ears prick up when it comes to black people because you purposely look for that. So let's stop pretending like it's about behavior, because if it was, you'd be blowing up the good stories just as much as the bad. You don't ignore black excellence by accident. You ignore it because it doesn't fit your narrative. Because when white kids are tearing up festivals and tearing up beaches and starting fights at football matches and games and all of those sorts of things, you don't say it's because of the white race. It's because of the white community. It's because of the white people. You say, oh, we got a bit out of hand. Oh, you know, they can't take their drinks. And what's riding my rhythm even more is that I'm seeing a load of black people up in the blood clot comments talking about, yeah, it is the community. I'm black and I agree. I'm black and I agree. You people especially make me sick. If you don't get your Uncle Ruckus, Aunt Jemima ass out of them comments, this isn't the first time a big, massive crowd of young people are hanging around and are just doing dumb shit. And this won't be the last time a bag of young people are going to be standing around doing dumb shit. Thankfully, no one got hurt, and thankfully, no one got unalived. They were just being dumb. Get a grip. Just a quick announcement.
I wanted to share this, what she posted, what Selena, who's founder of Coco Mag, said as well.
This is just a quick message to say that the incident in Clapham, I was actually caught up in the middle of it. A young man actually ran past me when I was driving through Clapham, because we have one of our Easter clubs in Brixton. So my route home is through Clapham, and I saw all of these children just running. And I just quickly pulled the car over and I tried to get one of the police officers to explain what's going on. He didn't want to talk to me. But when I'm now reading on the news what's happened, you know, there's a lot of people blaming parents. I get parents that email me consistently who tell me that they have older children and they're actually being domestically abused by their older children. They try and tell them what to do, and they say, you can't tell me nothing, because the government have taken, for some of us, the right away to parent how we were raised. Social services have taken the right. Black mothers are judged more than anyone else on their parenting. We can accuse parents as much as we like. We can say there's no youth clubs or things like that. There are organizations that are trying their best to put things in place for children and teens. But we have to go to the root. And that is that we, as parents, have had so much taken away from us. We have been threatened. We have been told that we're too harsh. And these are the results. Government, take note that when you take away powers, especially from Black mothers, this is what happens to our society. So I will say once more that we are doing a lot of finger pointing, but I want to go to the root, and that's the government. Hi, everybody.
Okay, two interesting takes. What's your reaction to both of them, Selena and Elaine?
I think I really disagree with Selena. Really disagree with her point on this. I think the government removing agency from parents, since when? How did that take place? There are definitely some, and it's a way small minority that come into contact with social services. But I will take my assumptions from what she's saying, because you know, a kid can go and say that they are being abused if you beat them. And I agree. I think that isn't a way to raise a child, by beating them. Like, I don't think that is actually even Black, that like Black mothers, because it's wrong to beat your kid, it's like, oh, now they don't know how to raise their kids. Then learn. If you needed to beat your child in order to get them disciplined, that's the wrong way about it. Like, you can't. I'm literally like, no. How a lot of kids were being raised in the 60s, 70s, and 80s was by abuse. And that's because abuse was done to them and was done to their parents and was set an example by white folks through colonialism. Like, no, this is not what we should be doing. It's not that, oh, we need to beat our children into submission. What does that sound like? Like, absolutely not. No, I think she's got the wrong end of the stick entirely. Like, I'm like, nah, you lost me there. She's lost me.
Farrah?
I'm inclined to agree, because I the way that I feel about it is, I don't like when the parents are getting the blame for everything. And I also don't like the assumption that the majority of these children come from fatherless homes, because that's bullshit. Exactly. I know a lot of people who, in fact, the majority of people I know have children and they're raising their children with a partner. The majority of people that I know, black people that I know. So I don't think that's necessarily true. I think it is down to the lack of things for kids to do. And I do also think that kids will be kids. Like, what I mean by that is, how many times as a youth did you run up in a park or run somewhere that you weren't supposed to run with a lot of people? Now with social media, there's access to more groups coming together than there ever was before. So they're going to do things like that. And I will go back again to the people in the comments who have said that it was annoying, but it wasn't violent. People weren't doing, the majority of these things were not violent. And that's why I wanted them to talk to the shopkeepers, because all this rhetoric about it's violent and they felt this way and they were scared for their lives. Talk to the shopkeepers, because is that how the shopkeepers felt? Or were they just pissed off? Were they annoyed? So I don't know. I don't necessarily feel, I'm not backing Elaine 100%, but I'm definitely not backing, what's the other woman's name?
Selena. I understand what she means, but I don't think, I wouldn't want to raise my child necessarily how I was raised, because I think there's a lot of question marks around that. Because again, like you said, Nana, our parents basically raised us the way they were raised. And it was like this whole thing of, that's the hard discipline. I don't think you need to hard discipline your child in order for them to respect you and to grow up as decent human beings. Yeah, I think I'm there's a combination of things that they both said that makes sense, and things I'm just like, from Selena's point, to be fair to her, she might have been speaking about cultural and traditional rather than corporal punishment. So
yeah.
And so she could have been. I immediately jumped.
How is that being removed?
I know.
I know. How much involvement does the government actually have day to day in most people's lives? I'm like, it just is like, it was as hyperbolic as GB News in a sense. I'm literally like, come on, chick. People are not. You don't have teachers, or you just don't have involvement like that. I think like it's a lie. Like when people are like, oh, the nanny state, and it's like, please piss off. Like, are you reading these leaflets and enforcing it? Is that not still your agency to do that? Like, you don't have nannies that come to your house. You can't even get a flipping midwife to help you. Like, it's like, let's be real about general situation. We don't have the government walking into our lives and watching over how we parent. Like that isn't what happens. So let's actually just be honest about it. Maybe people don't know how to parent. Maybe that's a factor. I was gonna say yes. I wanted more expansion on what she meant by the government intervention. I just wasn't sure if she completely meant beating, because that's not how Black single mothers are. That's not all we're known for. I don't know if she meant, when she said government, did she mean, I don't know, because you're right. There's no I don't know. I'm not sure what Selena completely meant. But I just wasn't sure. I don't know if she just meant beating and if she meant anything else. In regards to Elaine,
maybe discipline, maybe the form of discipline, right? But
unless
implication for hard discipline.
Yeah, unless she was thinking that, now since the introduction of Childline, and now kids are like, my mum told me off, I'm going to call 111, and now you're going to get in trouble. So maybe it's that kind of, I don't know, maybe that's where she was going. But what I was also disagreed with Elaine and her, first of all, people without kids can't speak. I don't think that's a fair thing to say, because people without kids could be aunties, could be parents.
But I think she was referring to a particular person.
I get it. No, I get it. But I'm just saying that that's a blanket statement that you're saying out there that isn't true to the kind of, especially to our community values. That's not it. We talk about raise takes a village. It's not all people in the village that have kids that can have commentary. I think there's a combination of things that we can look at, and I think it's very difficult to have a public facing conversation when we are being bombarded with racism. There are small things that we might say, because I would tell my daughter off for being involved in that. So why am I telling her off if she's just having a bit of fun? Kids will be kids, because I know that we said it already. At that age, I'm going to be there. I will be part of the link up. So when we talk about parenting and not blaming parents, but then, and also Selena said something that's quite important. There are some parents living who are being domestically abused by their kids. So, and that's raceless. There are lots of there are parents out there with kids that they cannot control and feel lost as how to control it. So there are factors. You can take race away from it, but we talk about kids that we care about and the community that we care about. Where are the things that we can talk about? And okay, so because if I was there, I might be looking at something like, what the fuck are you doing? I probably would have done, what are you doing? I would have had that. So where's your parents? I would have had some of the judgment. I might not speak out loud, but I might be like in closed circles. I might be like, okay, so bro, what's going on? Where's your parents? What's going on? What's happening? And there might be some kids that be like, bro, I know that kid's not getting the parenting. So where and how do we have those conversations about some of the things that we naturally say, with removing the fact that yes, the media is going to media and turn this into a racial conversation, and black people who are anti-black, but also not necessarily anti-black, but also quite frustrated with certain things. It might be just, I don't care about anybody else. I know what my kids are doing, my community is doing, not as a way of anti-blackness, but just as a way of, well, how do we stop our kids doing certain things? Because we are going to discipline kids. Like I said, my child would get in trouble for being involved in that.
Oh yeah, my kid would too. In all honesty,
but discipline doesn't.
And if I had done it and got caught, I would have got in trouble.
I didn't say
most
beating.
definitely. Yeah, I would have too. I think discipline
doesn't have to be beating. I'm not talking about beating. I'm not talking about beating.
I know. I'm saying I know. It's not about beating. I'm saying that discipline is a factor, and that isn't to say that anybody watching that or knows that their child was out there isn't going to discipline them. Disciplining doesn't necessarily stop you from doing the shit that you're going to do. I would, if I got that on my phone, I definitely would have, if I could, I would have tried to get to South, and I probably would have got there, and I probably would have ran, and I would have hoped to have not got arrested in the process of that as well, and made it back home without anybody knowing. But you never know. It's what you do as a teenager that you're stupid. It's, your mind isn't fully there. You will do dumb stuff. And there is a herd mentality within that. I do think people put a lot on parents should be able to totally control their children. And it's like, that has never been a thing ever in history. There's always been fractions, especially within teenage years, where it's fractured because they are trying to build their own identity. And so it's really easy to sit somewhere and be like, oh, parents should do unless you're in it. And it's like, no, people are being worked a lot, and they are working even harder to just make ends meet. That's a factor. Like, let's think about how expensive it is to actually put your kids into things during half terms, and then how much you have to work and how much time parents are away from their kids because they're providing for them. That's an issue. Who's going to take that on? Like, really? So it's like most people are doing the best that they can. I think it's also stupid to say folks that don't have kids can't talk on, like, you're in society. If you haven't had a child or not, and there are young people around you, you're a part of it, you can talk about it. Like, I always think that's really dumb when parents say, like, if you ain't got a kid, you can't talk on what I'm going through. I'm like, please, like, use your head. Like, I know, it just really feels.
I think
it's a weird thing to say, but it feels like you're telling on yourself. Like, there's a harsh deflection in there. Everybody is susceptible to criticism, and just because you have pushed out a human doesn't mean that you can't be criticized for your parenting. But I think it's weird.
Someone in the chat said she was speaking to Lynn May specifically.
She was speaking to Lynn May. That's why I was alluding to.
Oh, I didn't know that, but I still think that's such a hard. If someone doesn't know that, like I came into it not knowing she was speaking to Lynn May, that's still something.
Yeah, it's like say Lynn May, but I think, but if you haven't pushed out a child, no, I just feel like that sentiment is really off, because there are aunties and uncles that play a significant role in young people's lives and know a lot, and will make, if they so choose to, really good parents. Yeah, because they just know how to effectively communicate.
Exactly.
And these are the things. There is space for real classes and learning to be an effective parent. I think that is definitely, we're moving into a space of time where beating a kid ain't the answer. And lots of people don't know what the answer is because that's how they were raised. And why I was taking umbrage with what Selena was saying as well was we're not allowed to parent how we were parented. And it's like that doesn't work in this day and age. So then you have to come up with different ways and maybe throw your hands up as parents and be like, you know what, truly, I'm not coping properly. Like, I haven't got this down. Like, I'm missing out on discipline, like all of these things. And maybe that's something as a community we start thinking about. How do we put this into action so that when parents are really losing their rag with their kid or they feel that they are being abused by their children, there are systems in place, organizations that you can defer to that isn't social services, because that's also not an answer.
I think that definitely that conversation about, I think we were talking about it the other day. I was talking about last night just about, I think I was at a friend's family thing and some of us didn't have our kids with us. And then it's that conversation about when you bring your kids with you to things like, as I don't know if there's a difference between our newer generations where newer generations let their kids not come to the family, like to their things. Like, so I'm not articulating it properly. Like, say all of us got together, as in us as individuals getting together. So let's go out and chill. Normally, I want chill time with my friends, and so my child's not coming with me. But then when I had my daughter, and to be fair, I was the only one in my group at the time that had a child, and me and one other girl. So getting together, it was like I wanted to separate me time from that time, and there wasn't enough of us with kids to have like that communal time. Like maybe back in the day, with our parents would have us under their arm, and we'd all be in the same place together, and the kids would be in the room. And I don't know if that's changed. I know, Farrah, you've got a big family. Nana, you've got a big family, so maybe you don't have that. But for me, actually being the single mum with a child only, and my friends didn't have kids at the time, I missed out on that. So, but my child got it with family. I don't know if the new I just want to know if you think the new generations don't do that kind of communal gathering where there is like a bit of a village where kids can be in the same space with us and have friends of their family friends, so that even that then maybe they're not inclined to go out and just do mad stuff because they don't have that network. I don't know if I'm articulating myself properly.
I know what you mean, but I think for me it's different. It's like you said, like I have a big family, so when we're doing stuff, all the kids are around. Like I'm fortunate enough to have grown up with my cousins being my first best friends, and my daughter's fortunate enough to grow up with her cousins being her first best friends. So I definitely think that does make a difference in what you do externally, what you seek externally as well.
Yeah. It's all of those things. It is like the attachment, like what Gabor Mate discusses in terms of like when a kid is developing and they start forming attachments to other kids instead of the parents, and how as a parent you have to reinforce the attachment so that when they are in their teenage years, they don't seek the validation from the pack. And that's when they can do a lot of stupid things. But again, we don't get taught how to be parents. It's usually when the shit is hitting the fan that you start looking outside and being like, oh my God, it's going wrong. What can I do? Like, oh, how do I find help and all of that? But I think that is something. That is something that we need as a community to actually reestablish our parenting rules and organizations that people can rely on. That is outside of the state, because the state is racist. And so it's trying to remove that, to expecting a social worker or the state to effectively look after your child when shit's going wrong. No, they will just institutionalize them and try and put them in prison as soon as. Like, it's just the way of the world. So that's still, if you want folks to be working all the hours God says, I feel like you have to put in provisions for their children.
100%.
I think that's a simple one.
All right, let's move on. So I don't know this. I mean, I've never liked these two, and Jake Paul has decided that in response to Drewski, he might do a bit of blackface.
Money!
Oh, strike!
Strike setting it off again.
Let's go.
But look at what he's saying. Send these kids to Dagestan and forget. No, but okay. Thank you for signing it up. Remember, guys, if you want to join the chat and get on our what do you call it? Our platform on the town hall, then to make your donations, you can come and chat and join in the conversation. For the meantime, we've got Jake Paul, who reckons he's going to consider doing a bit of blackface in response to Drewski's skit about Base on Erica Kirk.
I want to ask you something because I've been over the last couple of days calling makeup artists, and I was gonna do a response to this and like go and do like the full on
darker,
and do it and just do it back, because why not?
Yeah,
like, are we on the same playing field? Like,
I think if there's a way to do it, singing in well, this even this sentence, but if there's a way to do it, I've been here many times. If there's a way to do it, I think there needs to be some Black support for the character.
I want to ask you something because
I think, like I'm saying, like say if Drewski or I'm trying to think of somebody else,
Charles Barkley.
If you got one of those guys to be like, hey, Theo, I want you to do this skit with me. Let's do this.
But still, that's pussying out.
You think it is?
Yeah.
Me, there's a level of like,
doesn't that make us more like prejudice?
Like more prejudice?
That makes us, if we have to partner with someone. Drewski just dropped this,
and he's done it a couple of times.
Exactly. I fucking love it. This is great. This is how humans should be.
I agree.
We should fucking make fun of each other. And I don't see in color, I see in truth and comedy.
Oh, boo!
So you're saying, are we living? I think.
Boo! Flog him!
I don't even talk properly because his jaw is still broken. You see how he's I don't understand. You know what? Yeah. White folks, when they're talking about things, just spit it out. When they try and go round the houses, it actually makes my skin crawl. Like, just say what you want to say. Say the offensive shit. Just get it out there. Why would he do it with Charles Barkley?
Because you know why he said Charles
a comedian.
No, do you know why he's saying Charles Barkley? So interesting, because Charles Barkley has been the affable black man on the sporting platforms. So that's why, like, they're linked. The fact they said Kai Cenat and Charles Barkley is quite telling, because they're like people that are amenable to the streaming world. Or Charles Barkley's been a bit of a.
He said some shit.
He said some kind of.
He's not a comedian.
No. It's like he said approval. He said he wants approval as a cosign. So he just drew for the amenable black that he knows or he could think of.
He could have said Terry Crews.
I mean,
that even may have landed better. No, it may have been like
because of approval.
I'm like, why are you plucking? Then you may as well have said Herschel, whoever. Like, you're just plucking any random black man that is a little bit conservative. That's what is prejudice.
Yes,
like you would pluck anybody. They're not even of the arts. If Drewski pulled you along and was like, okay, so now I'm going to put you in blackface, what Theo was saying, I kind of understood the way he was thinking, well, you shouldn't do it yourself. You could go in somebody else's sketch. But you know that's not what he's talking about. He wants to do blackface. Do it then and see if you don't get another broken jaw. Like, just do it.
If you
want to do it. Do it like the white girl that did it. And now she's demonetized and was crying. Like, do it and suffer the consequences. Why are you talking about it? That's what's pussy. Sitting on a pod, I've been thinking about doing blackface. Do it and see where it gets you.
And that's like all the whites doing whataboutery. Like, oh my god! And of course, the outraged politicians. It's like we don't even have to break it. It's not even worth breaking it down because you know why this is different. You know why blackface is a problem. You know. So all this dance around and pretending to be offended, and I go, well, it did so well. And the thing is, when he said that, I got chills because, like, I beg, don't let any of these kind of dance for massa type Negroes. Like, it's okay. I agree with you. It's racist. Let me do it with you. I don't. If I see that, I'm gonna. And if Drewski, you're standing 10 toes down, please, I beg. Because I understand there's that community of comedians where they think that, yeah, it's true. Like, but because sometimes they all band together with comedy. It's just comedy, and all comedy is protected. And
Jake Paul ain't even a comedian. I'm still like, what? Why are you getting involved in this?
It's your business. What's your business? I just don't want any black, and especially Drewski. I don't know Drewski or Drewski's politics. I don't know where he really sits. Right now he's doubling down, 10 toes down, and I hope he stays there because big you up. But I still don't know what if the white person says, okay, come on, let's do it together. I'm scared.
I mean, okay, so if he wants to have a response back to Drewski, what are you going to do? Dress up like Candice Owens or something?
What's
as
he
a
going to
conservative black woman or one of the Diamond Girls? I don't know if anybody would really give a hootenanny. Like, it's depending on what you're going to do. Who knows? It may land.
You know what they'll go for? They'll draw for the most hood, ghetto stereotype that they have of a black woman. You know, that's the first thing they want to do. That's the first thing.
I'm going to do a ghetto black woman.
They won't do a man. They won't do a man.
But they've been doing that shit. This is why we're here, because you lot have done it. You like stop making out, like Nana said, that you don't know the connotations around blackface. Stop making out like you don't understand it. You understand it. You're just pissed that you can't do it anymore. That's what it is. So if you're big and bad, do it.
Yeah,
that's why they're so bad. They're so stressed. That's why Amber Rhodes needs some piss off. Talk about white people can say the N-word. It's such a noose around their neck, pun intended, for them not to be able to do these things and say these things. They feel like that's the one little piece of power that we have. We don't have the financial thing, but you cannot dress up like us and see what happens to you.
This man said he don't see colour. Wasn't he just chatting shit the other day
truth.
about Bad
I
Bunny?
don't see colour.
Little pussy. He was chatting shit the other day about Bad Bunny and Puerto Ricans. These times you live in fucking Puerto Rico, yeah? You pussy. What are you talking about? Don't make another black man break your jaw. Do it, innit?
Exactly.
Please refight Anthony Joshua. Please try again. Let him break the other side. Actually, it was broken 2 places. Maybe he can break his nose as well.
Break the middle, because what the hell? Yeah, exactly. Juicy, and the thing is, listen, there's not even need to break it down. They know why it hit. That's why Erica had a hissy fit of all white women. Hissy fit.
And Elon Musk even was like, I'm leaving it on.
Yeah.
He's got 150 million views.
In her craw, in her whole nationalist crawl.
Would it not hurt you?
It's
though?
bothering her more than her dead husband. It's bothering her more than her dead husband.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
To fireworks and has people taking pictures under the place where your replica version of where your husband was murdered, but yet someone parodying and catching every angle of you. Of course, it would hurt me for millions of people to see, and because it's so accurate. Oh God,
it's just hilarious. It's funny, Erica. I mean, he's not going to be able to do it properly. But Jake Paul, if you're bad in it, you're big and bad.
Go on,
you really to do it, innit?
Go on,
do it,
Cletus. Come on, Cletus. Do it.
Exactly.
Oh, I hate that shit. I don't see color. Why do folks say that?
Yeah.
Why do they say that? I don't understand.
They say it before they want to say some shit. That's why.
Yeah, it's like, how can you not see color? How? Like, even as a word is an oxymoron. How can you not see color? You're not blind. You're not colorblind.
But if you don't see color and you just see truth, why shouldn't Bad Bunny have done the Super Bowl?
Exactly.
And if you don't see color.
What was the problem?
Why did you support? Who was it that they got to do it?
Oh, Kid Rock.
Kid Rock. Why did you support Kid Rock?
Yeah.
If you don't see color, why are you fighting black boxers?
if you don't see color, why do you not want to? Why do you feel like Puerto Ricans aren't American if you don't see color?
If you don't see color, why is your girlfriend blonde? Do you know what I mean? Like, we can get better. Because I bet when you're dating and if you're on Tinder or Hinge or any other dating app services, I bet your preference is your preference. If you don't see color, you date anyone, innit?
Yeah.
Have you ever dated or an Asian woman or an Indian woman? Have you? If you don't see color,
probably in the dark where it's colorless.
Probably hurt him.
God.
Oh my God, Jake is such an idiot. And these are the things. Why are there so many stupid folks that are super rich?
Oh, so many of them.
So many of them.
Maybe they're clones.
I bet he can't trace his family back past 1800. I bet you.
And are him and his brother twins or brothers? Are they brothers or twins?
No, they're brothers. I think they're like 18 months apart.
They go?
Test tube
anyway,
babies.
I was going to move on to something a bit more serious, but let's move on to more idiot men. So there's a rise in alpha male camps that promise a transformation. Boot camps attracting men and teenage boys looking for purpose and confidence, but critics warn the extreme methods and messaging raise deeper questions about masculinity, vulnerability, and influence. What if your boys were like, I want to go to an alpha camp, Mom?
An alpha camp?
Yes, my dear. Here we go.
Ready? Move! Last August, I found myself following a group of men who'd each paid $3,000 to be blindfolded, thrown into a van, and driven into the central Virginia wilderness.
I can do this for them.
And some months earlier on X, when I'd begun following a guy named Nick Adams, who presented himself as an alpha male influencer.
America wasn't built by the quiet. It was built by men who spoke first, stood tall.
Australian.
Who got uncomfortable.
I began receiving targeted ads for programs that promised to turn me into an alpha male or something like it. Each program that I visited had the trappings of a kind of wannabe military hell week. I visited a program in Southern California called Squire, run by a gym franchisor named Bedros Keuilian. Squire targets fathers and sons. A few of the sons looked like they were stoked to be there, but many actually looked more like hostages to me. A coach described me as the Hammer, instructed the boys to run around with sledgehammers, to do frog jumps, to do pull-ups, obstacle courses scattered with rusty nails and barbed wire. He had them get into an ice bath for more than 8 minutes. You got 2 more and you're done. We got it together. We got it together. But I was inclined to see something, at least in the RISE program. RISE is run by a former Marine motivational speaker and substance abuse professional named Brendan King. I watched these men up close for 3 days as they went through physical ordeals that made them pliable for a kind of rough-hewn therapy conducted in bro speak. Let's go, Kane. Get up there, on top of the hill now. Come on, Kane. These men were lonely, they were anxious, they were depressed. They felt a bleak outlook in their personal and professional life. An unemployed Army veteran in Arizona was brought to tears shortly into a low crawl up a steep gravel driveway, admitting to the group that he had erectile dysfunction. Another participant, who was being sprayed with a hose while he was wallowing in a mud pit, told the group that he had experienced horrible childhood abuse and neglect. On the final morning of the RISE program, I walked to a mountaintop with the guys who sat and journaled for a while as the sun rose. The founder of RISE, who has tried to be an alpha male himself for years, told me that he'd ultimately decided that the right kind of man should have qualities of both a beta and an alpha male. He described this kind of man as a sovereign male, and he believes that that's what he's creating.
So, what do you think, as women who date men and who understand the crisis out there? Is it wise that they go to alpha male camps? Because in the end, it sounds like he came to the conclusion that beta and alpha are a bit of both, and then they had to give it a new title. Sovereign. I hate the boxes, but stop laughing.
No, I get it. There's a lot of lonely people out there. It's just camp, innit? It's just grown men camp. like doing activities, orienteering, grown men camp, and then in the sunrise you find yourself. It's cheaper. Go to a festival. Go Glastonbury. You could have similar experiences, and it'll be fun. Like just sitting in an ice bath. All of this kind of spin on men have to get back to being men type of thing. I think the world has changed. And I don't know if this is the answer, but maybe they've got to go through all of the iterations of shit and then they're going to find the thing that they need. But I'm sorry, it was funny. The guy was rolling and then he admitted that he has erectile dysfunction. I found it amusing. I'm sorry.
Farrah, what do you think?
Yawn. Do you know what? I'm all for people getting together and sharing their feelings. I think it's good. It's cathartic, right? I'm all for that. But I don't know about this men need to be men and alphas, and I don't know about that. Like, the world's moved on. We don't need alpha men. Roar, I make fire. We don't need that.
I mean, I don't mind a bit of grit and brawn and a bit of beta. I think it's a mixture. I actually, because first I watched, I was like, we don't need this, and I don't like it being posed as what real men should be and the alpha of it all, because that gives different connotations. And you've got all these boys going through this stuff. I don't know where they're coming from or who sent them there, because if any of their parents sent them there because you're a little bit sissy, or you're not, like, why are those boys there at that young age? And it's different from going to, cadets or there's things that there are groups that are in existence that are like, okay, cool. But framing it as alpha male boot camp, and so what are you indoctrinating into your boys? I think that's
exactly.
Yeah, that's where it's all a little weird.
Yeah,
it's
weird. Exactly like the Duke of Edinburgh Award, or well, F them. But do you know what I'm saying? That those type of things.
There's things you can do that are team building, and not just men. You can do it with women as well. Like,
like Scouts for Adults. I wonder if they get badges. This is the thing. It is coming like Scouts for Adults. Thank you so much.
I wonder what type of badges they get.
What I'm saying, like, what's your achievements? I do like, they're journaling at the sunset. I'd appreciate groups like that. I'm sure our good friend Marvin has something similar. I appreciate you understanding that you've got to be a bit of both for what man is. And I know that as women, we don't know the things that what men need in order. I hear it and I can see it.
I think you know what? I actually think Marvin does do. He does do he does do like getaways. They're not that often, but yeah, and that
they're not like man make fire though.
This is it. I think men who would go for the alpha would be like, well, I'm not going to that sissy thing, because it is about journaling, speaking, like getting in touch with what you actually want. This feels like Sergeant Major. If you can't do it, it sounds abusive. Like, even the kids, and they're in spaces where there's nails and stuff. It's like, just because the person is male doesn't mean that they want a rough and rugged lifestyle. The same as there are some women that would like that, and there are others that are feminine. It's like, can folks just be allowed to be the human that they want to be?
Yeah, because I was literally thinking about whether women could, like, what if I fancied doing a bit of that? Because they say ice baths are good for you. So what if I wanted to do a bit of rough and ready? Because also, if we're talking about the world going to war, I would like some training. So what if I would I wouldn't mind rolling down a hill and getting sprayed by waters and all that type of stuff. I might want that as a woman. So can I join? Does it make me have
a male
thing? No, because man make fire.
I don't mind men, because I think, as male guests have said, men have extra energy, boys have extra energy, and there are things that they want to do, like punch a wall and kick a ball and fight.
I want to do those things,
and that's the thing. Shouldn't be exclusive to men. All right. That's it. Anyway, I think it's late, so we could wrap it up. Because the rest of the
story it's 11:30, and one has work in the morning.
Bloody hell!
Yes.
Do you want to do one nonsense to round it off? Thank you so much, guys, as well, for your contributions
and for joining us on a bank holiday Monday.
Yeah. Easter's being happy Easter and all that type of stuff. Let me see where we're going to go. Oh, this annoyed this annoyed me. I was like, I don't want these people to gentrify our favorite things. Let's get into this. Okie dokie. 1 second. I can't believe time's moved so quickly.
Man, make fire. Miraculous. Yes, this is weekly. News and Nonsense is weekly, generally on a Sunday at 12 p.m. But as Sunday was Easter Sunday, we had other things to do. So every Sunday, 12 p.m., we are here. Subscribe to the channel. See you next week as well.
Yeah, as a PSA, I think, because it's this guy has said white people have discovered plantain and don't know it's dangerous to eat.
Oh, I've seen this.
Enough of these in our diet. This isn't the same as this, and you might think, what the hell are you talking about? This thing right here is called a plantain or plantain if you're from Jamaica. Now,
fuck off. That annoyed me automatically.
I
can't. What do you mean?
this probably is the best carbohydrate source in the world. Now, green doesn't even taste like a banana, it tastes like a potato. You got 3 grams of fiber, really good carbs. After about 5 minutes, you are left with possibly the healthiest chip in the entire world.
Wait a damn minute.
White people are eating plantains now. Dear white people, I know you like to listen to your fellow brethren, as you should, that want to eat, but I want to share a story about the one time I brought a white friend to Haiti. He ate a plantain and he lost his eyesight temporarily. I think plantains are poisonous to certain people, and I'm not sure if your body has to build up like some immunity or like some, some response to it. Another one of my friends brought a friend, she was from Ohio. Her hair started falling out. Another friend was profusely vomiting. So I don't know if plantains are exactly what you guys should be preparing. I know they started selling them at your local grocery stores, but that's why the price has gone up. And I think oxtail too are too fatty for your delectable bodies. You guys have always had good cuts of meat. So I think you should leave that to the people who naturally are supposed to eat it. This is just what I'm sharing with you. You don't have to believe me. But I think plantains are poisonous to you guys. And I think you should stay far, far, far away. Because who wants to lose their eyesight, go dizzy, vomit, or lose their hair? I think we're fine to eat it. But hey, eat at your own risk. Eat at your own risk. I bet you don't.
It's just a PSA.
I'm just saying a big up to Yvonne. She's donated some.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Where's it gone? Where's it gone?
Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you.
He said, the white man said.
Oh, sorry.
He said, plantain or plantain if you're from Jamaica. Shut the fuck up. And then he said it tastes like potato. It tastes like potato. What kind of potatoes are you eating?
The perfect chip. What? Anyway, it's always
left it on the fire for too long.
It's fine. What you did was perfect. And exactly that. That is literally what's going to happen. Your hair will fall out. You will
it's the blindness.
It's the blindness for me.
Yeah. It will. It is. It's true.
No. Honestly, we actually don't need them getting on plantain train because at the moment now, around the corner, we've just got it back to free for £1.
Same.
If white folks start getting involved in this, they're gonna start selling it like bunches for like 10
It'll
quid.
be like avocado.
We don't.
It'll be like
honestly, folks. Even sometimes, if you got somebody coming around, like don't prepare it.
No,
I think we just don't need this going into shops, and then they're going to start making it wrong. Like this one talking about chips.
Think of the small box.
Does he know it comes in different colors, or does he think it's always green? You know what? Stay with the green ones. I don't even like the green ones.
I actually do. So listen,
I like green banana.
No, listen. It's got nothing to do with nothing. It doesn't suit your digestive system.
I like it.
It's like the sun. You got to treat it with caution. The sun isn't for everybody. It's like that. It's like you know, like black people's tolerance is different. It's not. You're actually allergic to it.
Yeah, it gives you rash on your tongue.
Like maybe at your best friend's wedding you can consume it. Like it's got to be that sparingly. Like once every decade. This can't be a part of your diet. It's not avocado. You can't use it like the butters. Like it's actually not for you.
No.
No. Yes, thank you. Thank you, but no. Thank you.
Exactly. Plantain is like overnight rice, poisonous.
Exactly. And wash chicken, guys. Keep it over there. It is.
Yeah. Don't eat it.
Don't eat it. Definitely don't eat it. And
it's bad for you. It's bad for
go down to those black spaces where the kids are steaming the high streets. Don't go down there.
No.
Don't.
It's not worth it.
Oh,
that tickled me.
All right, my darlings. That's it. And thank you very much to our little contributors. That was who was it? Who gave us?
Okay. Let me get them up. Okay. Baby Daddy Stripes, he gave us £2. Thank you
and a
so
warning.
much. And Day One Sistering gave us $19.99. We love her. And then Yvonne gifted 5 memberships. If any of you got a membership, please say thank you to Yvonne. She is.
Please do.
Thank you so much.
Oh wow.
Appreciate y'all. All right, guys.
That planting was funny.
See you next week, Sunday, for more news and nonsense. And the main show will be out tomorrow and Tuesday. Tuesday. Yes, tomorrow.
Yep. Tomorrow.
It's
a good one.
What did you do? What was that?
I was telling myself off. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye now.